Hello everyone, and welcome to my YNR Update 24 channel. I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up before we dive into today's Young and the Restless update. Nate and Victoria accidentally crash the party. Nate and Victoria drift into the athletic club without noticing the sign that reads, "Private Party." He helps her off with her coat and tells her he knows it must be hard to be out while waiting for news about Noah. He's determined to help her relax. Jack and Michael stride in, surprised to see them. Once Danny arrives, he proclaims he will be running down the aisle to his bride. Victoria clues in that they are crashing a party. Phyllis walks in and glares from the corner as Danny explains that the place has been booked for his bachelor party. He invites them to join the parties, confident that Cricket would be thrilled to have Victoria there. Devin joins them and explains he lost Abby to the party in the lounge. Michael tries to stop Phyllis from making a scene after Victoria heads downstairs. Michael spots Phyllis, appalled that she's there. He warns her that she had better not do anything to ruin the evening. She claims she's made peace with this gross excuse for a marriage. Phyllis adds she tried wishing them well, but the bug was aggressive with her. She trashes her as beige and declares all of this sad. Michael waves Tootle and urges her to exit. After she takes a few steps back, she grumbles, "You are not the boss of me." The bachelor party gets underway. Michael fills Jack in on catching Phyllis lurking. "That can't be good," says Jack. They join the others, and the lawyer reads a note from Daniel about how happy he is that his father has found true love again. They toast to the groom. Danny toasts to Jack for making this happen and recalls how he set him up with a certain model from Jabot many years ago. They toast true love. Danny asks Nate for an update on Amy and recalls how great it was when he sang with her and Lauren. After more toasts, Danny explains that he and Cricket have tried hard to keep everything around the wedding under wraps. The last thing they want is an unexpected visitor. Nate, Jack, Devin, Michael, Danny, YNR. Jack and Nate discuss Victoria and all her grief. Devin listens as his cousin explains how much he and Victoria have been leaning on each other. They prod Devin for marital advice, and he claims he doesn't even let the mustache ruin things. Michael declares they've had enough morbid talk. Everyone agrees, so they toast to the happy couple. Nate, Jack, Devin, Michael, Danny, YNR. Lauren tries to stop Phyllis from making a scene back in the lounge. Christine thanks Lauren for putting this together. Victoria joins them and congratulates the bride until Christine pays her condolences for Cole. Cricket can't think of a better way to heal than a night of living, laughing, and loving. As they get to laughing, Phyllis clomps in and lunges for the champagne. Lauren snatches it away. Phyllis warns the bride she has a bottomless bag of barbs for her. Lauren drags her away and accuses her of being a heat-seeking bitch when it comes to Christine. Is it that important to her to ruin her happiness? Phyllis rails that Cricket has been ruining her life for years. She's vicious and cruel. Lauren thinks she's being ridiculous. Her friend is sure Danny will wake up and realize he's made a huge mistake. Phyllis, Lauren, Christine, Diane, Victoria, Abby, Tracy, YNR. Phyllis crashes Christine's party and makes a scene. Christine toasts to love being sweeter the second time around. Diane says it has a funny way of working out how it's supposed to. Tracy and Victoria keep telling themselves it will work out eventually. Christine is sure they will all find their happy endings when the time is right. She only hopes Phyllis does so that she will but out of her life. Spotting Phyllis arguing with Lauren, she storms over and tells Phyllis that she resents her getting what she wanted and can't handle the fact that it's all her fault. When she accuses her of being too crazy to find real love, Phyllis leaps at her. Lauren has to hold her back. Choking up, Phyllis insists she's not crazy and accuses Cricket of having no soul before threatening to take her out. Christine apologizes for hitting a nerve, but she's acting unhinged. Phyllis bellows she's happy to leave her loser party and loser happy ever after marriage. Phyllis storms up the stairs into the dining room and faces Danny and the others. She declares she doesn't deserve being kicked in the face by Cricket and stalks off. Danny hopes she didn't ruin the party downstairs. They all head downstairs. Christine is relieved to see her fiancé and tells him how wonderful he is. Jack suggests they join the two parties. Michael calls for more bottles. The lights suddenly go out. "Phyllis!" Everyone shouts in unison. As they debate whether she pulled this prank, Christine recalls some of her former stunts. Jack, Diane, Lauren, Tracy, YNR. Danny and Phyllis have a heart-to-heart. Danny gets an idea and rushes up the stairs. When he runs into Phyllis, she assumes he will lay into her, but wishes he'd say he's seen the light about Cricket. Danny simply wants her to be okay. She wonders why he always thinks the worst of her. As they stand at the bar, he tells her she's something else. She loves and feels so much. That's a gift, but she doesn't always use it well. Sobbing, she explains Christine called her crazy. She admits she went crazy with Sharon. He's sorry he and Christine have ever hurt her. Phyllis swears she's moved on and wants him to be happy. But with Christine, Danny says there will never be anyone else. Phyllis will never like her, but she likes Danny anyway. He's the greatest, and she will be happy for him. When he asks her to come back to the party, she turns him down. After he assures her she will be fine, he leaves her in tears, and she tells herself she will be okay. Danny serenades his guests as the power returns. Danny returns to the lounge with his guitar, where everyone has been wondering why Phyllis had to act out. Michael hopes she will put her obsession with the bride and groom in the past. Danny suggests they put on a show while they wait for the power to return. He leads his muse up to the piano. Danny asks everyone to sing along. As they all sing, Christine rests her head on Danny's shoulder, and Phyllis looks in for a moment, clutching her chest before walking away. As everyone claps, the lights return. Danny tells Cricket he can't wait to marry her so they can start their lives again. "Rain to fix things," she whispered. "Fix people, fix myself, fix the past. But maybe I just need to let go." Danny smiled softly. Maybe letting go is fixing things. They sat in silence for a long moment, the sound of the rain filling the space between them. Music and memories. Danny picked up his guitar, strumming lightly. "Do you remember this?" he asked, playing the soft melody of a song Phyllis hadn't heard in years, one he'd written for her back when they were first falling in love. Her breath caught. "You still remember that?" "How could I forget?" he said. "It was one of the happiest times in my life." She closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her. "You have no idea how much I missed this. Not the song, not the music of you." Danny's eyes softened. "And I missed the parts of you that made life exciting. You made me feel alive, Phyllis. You always did." When he stopped playing, the silence was almost sacred. Phyllis whispered, "Do you think we could ever be friends again?" Danny hesitated. "Friends, yes. Maybe even better than before, because now we're honest. But as for anything more," she finished the sentence for him. "That part of our story's already been written." He nodded slowly. "Exactly. Facing the future." Phyllis stood, wiping a tear from her cheek. "You know, for the first time in a long while, I don't feel like I have to fight for something that's gone. I can just remember it." Danny rose too, smiling warmly. "That's a good start." She walked to the door, hesitated, and looked back. "You really think there's hope for me, don't you?" "I don't think," he said softly. "I know." Phyllis smiled through her tears. "You always believed in me, even when I didn't deserve it." Danny stepped closer. "You've made mistakes, Phyllis. So have I. But redemption isn't about being perfect. It's about trying again." She nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "Then maybe this time, I'll finally get it right." A final goodbye for now. As she left his room, the rain had stopped. The air felt lighter, fresher, as if Genoa City itself had been holding its breath. Phyllis paused in the hallway, closing her eyes. She felt something she hadn't in years, peace. Inside, Danny watched her go, then returned to his guitar. He strummed the same melody again, softer this time, filled with the bittersweet beauty of closure. When the final chord faded, he smiled sadly. "Goodbye, Red," he murmured. Phyllis, walking away down the hallway, whispered into the quiet air, "Goodbye, Danny." And for once, neither of them felt the sting of regret. Just gratitude for what was and what could still be. The next chapter begins. Later that night, Phyllis returned home to an empty apartment. She poured herself a glass of wine and stared out the window. Her phone buzzed, a text from Daniel. "Daniel, hey Mom. Just wanted to say, I'm proud of you." Phyllis smiled, tears blurring her vision. Maybe Danny was right. Maybe redemption didn't come all at once. Maybe it came in quiet steps, in choosing honesty over pride, peace over chaos. For the first time, Phyllis wasn't chasing after love or revenge. She was simply breathing. And somewhere in Genoa City, Danny Romalotti sat at his piano, humming the tune of a new song, one not about heartbreak, but about healing. Closing thoughts. Their story had been one of fire and forgiveness, of wild love and painful lessons. But through it all, Danny and Phyllis had found something rare, a way to honor their past without being chained to it. They'd fought, hurt, healed, and grown, not into who they once were, but into who they were always meant to be. And in the quiet spaces between music and memory, they both finally found what they'd been missing all along. Peace. Christine hears the news. Word travels fast in Genoa City. By the next morning, whispers about Danny and Phyllis sharing a late-night talk had already reached Christine Blair Williams. She tried to ignore them, telling herself gossip was gossip. Still, as she sat in her law office reviewing contracts, she couldn't concentrate. Every line blurred into the same question. Why didn't Danny mention it? When Danny finally stopped by to drop off a cup of coffee, she greeted him with her usual warmth, but there was an edge in her smile. "Rough morning?" he asked lightly. Christine folded her hands. "You could say that. Or maybe I'm just curious about your night." He hesitated. Phyllis came by. "We talked." "Talked?" Christine repeated, her tone careful. "That's all." "Yes." She needed closure. "So did I." Christine nodded slowly, but doubt flickered behind her calm eyes. "I'm glad you could clear the air," she said. "Just make sure it stays clear." Danny reached for her hand. "You know you can trust me." "I want to," she said honestly. "But you and Phyllis, history like that doesn't disappear overnight." The words stung because they were true. Phyllis tries to start fresh. Across town, Phyllis stood behind the counter at Crimson Lights, stirring sugar into her coffee. She'd spent the night replaying her talk with Danny, half expecting regret to creep in, but it hadn't. For once, she'd spoken from the heart without manipulating the outcome. "Look who's up early," came a familiar voice. It was Daniel, smiling as he slid onto the stool beside her. "Early?" she teased. "You forget, I hardly sleep." He laughed. "You and caffeine, inseparable." They talked easily for a while until Daniel's expression turned serious. "I heard you talk to Dad." Phyllis blinked. "Already?" "News in this town travels faster than Wi-Fi." "He told me," Daniel said gently. "Said it was good. Healing." Phyllis smiled faintly. "It was. For both of us." Daniel studied her. "You okay, Mom? You look lighter." "I feel lighter," she admitted. "For the first time, I didn't have to prove anything. I just listened." He nodded approvingly. "That's growth." She smirked. "Don't make it sound like I'm in therapy." "Maybe you are," he said. "Just not the paid kind." They shared a laugh, an easy, honest moment neither had felt in years. Christine's jealous heart. That evening, Christine stopped by the jazz club where Danny was rehearsing. The place was empty except for the low hum of amps and the faint scent of polish on the stage floor. Danny's voice carried through the room, smooth, steady, familiar. It made her heart ache. When he finished, he smiled. "Hey, you came. I needed to talk," she said. He set down his guitar. "About Phyllis?" Christine sighed. "I'm not proud of this, but yes. I thought I was past being jealous, Danny. But hearing that you spent half the night with her, alone, it stirred things up." Danny stepped closer. "Christine, nothing happened." "I swear." "I believe you," she said softly. "But it reminded me how deep your history runs. Every time I think Phyllis is finally out of our lives, she finds her way back." Danny's shoulders slumped. "She came for closure. I didn't want to shut her out." Christine's eyes shimmered. "And you shouldn't. I just need to know, am I the one you're choosing to build something with, or am I just a pause between your past and your next song about her?" The question cut to the core. Danny took her hands. "You are the present, Christine. The music, the peace. That's because of you." Her lips curved in a tentative smile. "Then prove it." Phyllis's temptation. Meanwhile, Phyllis threw herself into work at the Grand Phoenix, determined to focus on her business instead of her heart. But every quiet moment brought back Danny's words, his touch, the calm in his eyes. Was it possible she still loved him? Or was she just addicted to the idea of him forgiving her? That night, she found herself replaying one of his old records. The melody filled her penthouse, stirring memories of laughter, wine, and slow dances from decades ago. Then came a knock on her door. She opened it to find Michael Baldwin, old friend and occasional voice of reason. "Phyllis Summers listening to vintage Danny Romalotti?" he teased. "That's dangerous territory." She poured him a drink. "Don't start." "Too late." Christine's rattled, Danny's defensive, and you're playing DJ with nostalgia. "Care to explain?" Phyllis sighed. "We talked. That's all. And you know what? I didn't try to win him back." Michael arched an eyebrow. "For you, that is progress." She smirked. "Funny. But be careful," he warned. "Closure can look a lot like temptation." Phyllis swirled her wine. "I'm not that woman anymore." Michael smiled knowingly. "Maybe not. But you'll always be Phyllis, and the world's never bored when you are." A song for the past. The next week, Danny performed a new song at the club. The crowd was small but attentive, Christine in the front row, Daniel near the bar, and unbeknownst to either of them, Phyllis standing in the doorway, half hidden by shadows. The song began softly, a gentle acoustic rhythm wrapped around lyrics about forgiveness, time, and learning to let go. "We burned bright, we burned wild, we left ashes in the rain. But love's lesson whispers softly, every loss leaves something to gain." Christine felt tears prick her eyes. The song wasn't about her, and she knew it. Phyllis closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her. Every line was a goodbye disguised as a lullaby. When the final note faded, the room erupted in applause. Danny caught sight of Phyllis by the door. Their eyes met briefly before she slipped away. Christine draws a line. After the show, Christine joined Danny backstage. "That song," she began. He rubbed the back of his neck. "It was about moving on." "I know," she said. "But part of me wonders if you were saying goodbye to her, or to us." He frowned. "Christine." She raised a hand. "I'm not angry. I just need honesty. If part of your heart is still tangled up with Phyllis, tell me now before we both get hurt." Danny's gaze softened. "There will always be a corner of my heart that remembers her. But the rest belongs here with you. If you'll still have me." Christine nodded, tears threatening. "Then let's build something real. No ghosts." Phyllis finds her strength. Back at the Grand Phoenix, Phyllis sat at the bar alone. The bartender set down another glass of wine, but she pushed it away. "No thanks," she said. "I'm done numbing things." For once, she meant it. Daniel appeared beside her. "You okay?" She smiled faintly. "Yeah. I want to hear your dad's new song." It was beautiful. Daniel studied her carefully. "Must have been hard." "It was," she admitted. "But also freeing. He's where he's supposed to be. And so am I." Daniel's expression softened. "I'm proud of you." "Stop saying that or I'll start crying," she said, half laughing. "You know how I hate that." He grinned. "You're allowed to cry, Mom. It's called being human." Phyllis exhaled slowly. "Maybe I'm finally learning how." An uneasy peace. Over the next few weeks, a fragile calm settled over Genoa City's tangled trio. Danny and Christine began rebuilding their relationship with cautious optimism, taking walks by the lake, sharing dinners without bringing up the past. Phyllis focused on the hotel, mentoring younger staff, and even launching a charity event with Daniel. But peace never lasts long in this town. One afternoon, Phyllis received an anonymous envelope at the Phoenix. Inside was a photo, grainy but unmistakable, of her and Danny's private conversation at his suite. The note read, "Some stories never stay buried." She froze. Who would send this? And why now? Her first thought was Jeremy Stark's old associates, then Audra Charles, ever the opportunist. But the handwriting looked familiar, looping, and precise. Christine's handwriting. Phyllis's pulse raced. No, she wouldn't. Would she? Confrontation round 2. That evening, Phyllis stormed into society, spotting Christine dining with Danny. She marched straight to their table and dropped the photo between them. "You two really want peace," she hissed. "Then stop sending threats." Christine's eyes widened. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play innocent," Phyllis snapped. "You're trying to scare me off." Danny grabbed the photo, frowning. "Where did this come from?" From someone who clearly wants drama, Phyllis said, glaring at Christine. Christine's face flushed. I didn't send this, Phyllis. Phyllis crossed her arms. Convenient denial. Danny raised his voice. Enough. Whatever this is, it ends now. Both of you deserve better than this endless war. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Phyllis sighed, shoulders slumping. Maybe you're right. Maybe I just wanted to believe someone still cared enough to fight. Christine's expression softened. Phyllis, nobody wants to fight you. We just want peace. Phyllis looked at her, genuinely weary. Then maybe it's time I stop being the storm, healing one step at a time. Later, Danny walked Phyllis to the door. Whoever sent that photo, it wasn't Christine. She's moved past all that. I know, Phyllis said quietly. I think I just needed an excuse to be angry. It's easier than feeling sad. Danny smiled gently. Sadness fades. Peace lasts. She looked up at him, eyes glistening. You really are too good for this town. He chuckled. And you're exactly what keeps it interesting. They shared a small, genuine laugh, the kind that heals instead of hurts. A quiet ending. A week later, the three of them found themselves at the same place again, Daniel's art show downtown. The lights were soft, the music low, and for once, there was no tension. Christine and Phyllis exchanged a tentative smile across the room. Danny noticed and felt something loosen in his chest. Maybe, just maybe, the past had finally settled. When the night ended, Phyllis walked out into the crisp air, looking up at the stars. Good night, Genoa City, she whispered. Try not to burn down without me. Inside, Danny strummed a quiet tune on his guitar, while Christine leaned against his shoulder, eyes closed, content at last. Epilogue. In the weeks that followed, rumors faded. The photo sender was never identified. Phyllis channeled her energy into new beginnings. Danny released a heartfelt album titled Reflections, and Christine found joy in simplicity. Life in Genoa City moved forward, imperfect, unpredictable, and wonderfully alive. And though Danny and Phyllis's chapter had finally closed, both carried its lessons like a melody they could hum without pain. Because sometimes, closure doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without breaking.